so today we over here at Motorcycle Mall, and we're finally gonna start putting the H2 motor back together. And as y'all can see, Ricardo's got his stuff nice and laid out in the order that he needs to make his job a lot easier. So what he want to do today is everything that he's got laid out, he want to try to get put into the motor today. He want to get all this stuff put together. So what we want to do before we even start is we want to talk about these the transmission. So the transmission we sent out to New England Gear Polishing, and I'll leave a link to them down in the bottom. So basically what they did was took the gears and they polished them, made them a lot smoother. And what that's going to do is some people think that you gain something like a horsepower, gain horsepower or power in general from that, but that's not what it's for. It's to help the bike shift a lot smoother, and it's also to help keep the temperatures down because it's less friction when you have smoother surfaces like that bonding with each other, as opposed to rougher surfaces, say like this, as opposed to the shininess and the flatness of this. So but yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. And Ricardo, you got anything you want to say about this nice little polishing we got going on?
Yeah,
over
so
there?
this basically is pretty much what you said. The thing is, with the temperature, like any combustion engine tends to produce temperature, and temperature is the worst enemy for horsepower. So all the combustion engines, they lose horsepower through temperature as well. So having this the surface, it gets down to such a smooth surface that, you know, the oil does this better job. There's less friction between the parts, less wear. You only have advantages with this, and one of them, like, I'm not saying you're going to see horsepower on a dyno, but at the end of the day, this is what, you know, most of race teams do. You see a lot of these, especially, for example, in Indy cars, NASCAR, all of that, they do this type of work. You know, this DLC coating, all of that.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and start. Where you want to start at today?
I need to start putting all the pistons, you know, all together with the rods, put the rings, put the crank into place. So that's how we're gonna start today.
All right. Well, start your camera, and then we'll set up time lapse, and if we need to talk, we'll just do that along the way. So that's the oil scraper?
That's, I will not call him oil scraper, but this is where the oil comes out to lubricate the piston, you know? So.
Oh, okay.
Technically, and this is how I learned, so the oil will exit here. The one that it will scrape the oil will be this one, which is the one that after.
Oh, okay.
And the top one will be the compression ring. So high performance engines, they don't have this one. They're gonna have the bottom one and the top one.
So no scraper. So it keeps oil in the cylinders. Does that help it stay cooler,
no,
maybe?
No. So that is less friction. The piston will be lighter as well. So, you know, like, and it's a performance engine, so it doesn't need to last a million miles.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's gonna be taken apart anyway, so. Yeah, I have a few different lubricants depending where I am working on it. I have my own kind of idea how I use my stuff, so I have quite a few.
Ultra slick.
That's what they call it. It's nice, right? So there is no scratches, nothing. You can, because one of the things that a lot of guys do, they use like a pick or a flat screwdriver or something like that. They ending up scratching the piston, then the pin when it's moving, it gets stuck, scratches. It's a bunch of nonsense. And, let's apply a little bit of oil. Doesn't matter if you have a lot of oil. On a startup, it will burn the excessive amount. The idea behind these is to have everything running nice and smooth for the first startup. Especially it's going to be really cold, so we don't want any type of
So is that some
metal contact.
Is that some Motul race oil?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it for real?
It is, it is.
Oh, okay. I was just joking.
It is. Pretty much all my race engines, I only use that oil. I have a lot of success with that oil. You actually saw it not long ago. We opened Rich's engine and the plain bearings was not a single mark on it.
Yeah.
Always using that oil with 7,000 miles. They looked like they never ran.
Which one is he using?
The 300V, Motul 300V. There was a point that I couldn't, it was a little bit space, so the tool was giving me a hard time. I guess I'm gonna need to get like a sleeve, because the sleeve does a better job.
Yeah.
Let's see, is everything okay? Seems nice and smooth.
So what do you do next?
Now I want to flip this over, put all the plain bearings, put this bad boy in.
You already got one in here.
Yeah, that's one I was testing, because that's the new rods that we have installed. So
Okay. lock rings?
No, this is like a thrust washer, so like that's to have the correct play side to side. Let's say.
So that's the only thing between the two halves of the cases.
So, to be honest with you, if you grab two brand new cases and you slap them together with no glue, they will seal. I don't know for how long, but they will seal for a long period of time with no leaks whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
That's how perfect they are from the factory.
That's why they always say you can't buy different mismatched cases.
No, that's because when the cases are together, this portion over here, when they drill it as a one piece. So, and that's what it makes perfection.
Yeah.
You know, there's no another way to go around.
Yeah, as I see that a lot with the booster cases when they be selling them. Dudes always ask if it's matching cases when they come off for sale.
Exactly.
And I always wonder why.
Now you know why. And that happens on the cylinder heads. It's exactly the same thing. Because of the cam caps.
Yeah.
Because it's drilled one piece. So if you guys wondering why there is two colors, it's pretty simple. The answer for that is, so the engine had a little issue where one of the plain bearings on cylinder number 3 failed. Well, we caught up before it actually grenaded the engine while we were doing a small tuning session on a dyno, and I noticed the temperature wasn't quite right, and I saw a little bit of loss on horsepower, and I said, like, this is not right. We should open the engine because it doesn't sound right to me. There was no engine noise, nothing. But when we opened, we saw the plain bearing failed. So because that plain bearing failed, and it was a little bit of metal traveling up and down of the cylinder sleeves. Because this is not a sleeve. So we sent these to Millennium Technologies, and Millennium made it, they replated it with Nicosil. But to do the whole process, this goes into a sandblaster and an acid bath and all of that. So that's why there's no more exactly the same color, because one is painted and this one is not. But since the bottom of the engine is the part that you see the most, it should not interfere that much, you know.
With this build, ever since I started building this motor, like back when the first time we had the motor built, it's always been about trying to put the best of what we can find for this bike in it, because as a lot of y'all know, you can't really find too many parts for this bike right now. It's not too many people making parts for them, and if they do, they're highly expensive. Like compared to counterparts for other bikes, it's way more expensive for parts for this bike. So that's why we got the upgraded rods, the upgraded pistons, we got the transmission done now, and that's just like some of the stuff. And we've had the oil mod done to the crank, we've had the crank polished. So it's just the small things. A lot of the small things add up to big things, but you got to make sure you're doing the right small things and not wasting your time with some stuff. So you got to pick and choose what you do. But best thing to do is when you got the motor apart, do what you can to upgrade parts while you got it apart. Even if you have to wait a little bit longer to be able to get the parts in, or get the money to do it, it's better to do it once than to have to come back later and redo it. So let's see what Ricardo's about to do now. He's got the transmission, he's got to bolt it in, obviously, and then from there, who knows. But I think me and him about to take a lunch break here in a second though. About to get us some Chinese food in our bellies.
Chinese.